So, just to let you know, I use ChatGPT to help me with the translation of the material, and I ask to refine on a more contemporary way. So it's pieces of the text. It's not like real translation, like um, a loyal translation, but the essence of the text. So that's what I put it here. And also, I will present a little bit more different. I'm not going to read the whole thing and then present something. I will like present like pieces of the text, and then we're going through them. So let's hope that works. Because to be very honest, I completely, because we've been so long without doing, I completely forgot that was me today. So I said, oh my God. Then I go home and then I did it. But it's done. So at least it's done. So
Well
let's
done, bye.
so I'll be honest, I tried to kill a bit of work to do at work, but I was so busy. So I have to do when I get home today. But it's all done. And that's
This is like Dai, is exactly what I did. I first fixed the Portuguese text, and then I asked to ChatGPT to give a contemporary translation for the English, and then that's what I've done, and
yeah.
I will continue doing. And once you've done the first, the others go in the same way. Very easy. It's good.
Yeah. So let's go with the presentation. So true maturity. So let's go. Let me start with a simple but powerful. I'm gonna have to see you guys because then otherwise I don't know when you want to see it. So I can see my notes, but let's hope I can remember all of them. So let me start with a simple but powerful idea. Is this one I just need to click here? Yeah. The lesser is the blessed by the greater. That's the Bible versicle that the book talk about it. So what that means? So that means like all the greats needs to bless the lesser, so the lesser is not good enough to bless others. So we're gonna hopefully get to understanding what that particular piece of the text means. So the lesser is blessed by the greater. Okay. All right. So in life, we all grow. Some grow in knowledge. Lulu is doing her PhD now. Some make in experience. Jackson is the most mature person here tonight, at least in years living on this earth. Some in success. We have artists out there. Like for example, your sister Colleen, that is singing along. I can see her little videos online. So she's paving her way through success on her career choosing. That is like being an artist, a singer, a teacher on that aspect of life. Power or skills, and we all know that. We're all different beings with all different growth in our lives here in the material realm, like what we choose as a career, and also for us that we are studying spiritism and believing many lives, the understanding that our spirit as well grow in different stages. Some spirits are more mature because went through more experience and reincarnations than other spirits. They're just, I would say, young, but still in the beginning of their journey of maturity spiritually, as we say, not that we are not perfect, but like in that existence, like we all are born simple and ignorant, and we grow through experience and whatever that God has prepared for us, and we have to go through them, and then with them we grow. Okay, so at some point, each of ourselves at some point, each of us may find ourselves ahead of others in some areas, which is totally fine. You cannot compare, for example, the life experience that Jackson's have, like, with the decades that he lived here on Earth, and compare with a child of 10 years old. Like, of course, he will have way more knowledge in life, in, relationships, work than a child that is just 10 years old and what is like studying grade 3, 4, I guess. and still learning the tables like grammar, and all of things. So we are different. It's like normal here in this material world and also in our spiritual world. So of course, some people who have more maturity, more experience and knowledge than others. It's natural. It's just nature. It is what it is. There is no way to go against that, because that's the law progression. Some people know more because they're older, mature, and other people are just arriving here for this experience, and therefore they have a whole path to go through and learning process to go through as well. So, but here's the real question: what do we do with that growth? So we already discussed that, people are old, young, spirits that are old and young on that sense. Let's just use those simple kind of words today, just for the sake of the argument that we are discussing here, okay? So what do we do with that growth? So what is the reason for that? But because we have to also analyze that. Too often people rise and they forget where they're coming from. Success can turn into greed if we don't watch ourselves. Where recognition can turn into vanity, and power can turn into pride. So those things are things that we always have to be mindful, always, in a sense that when I think about that, and when I do have my conversations with God, I always ask about wisdom. So that would help us to understand that even though progress and growing, it's part of the life. And on this essence, we are talking about on the material experience that we go through, when you are on a position of power at work, what will you do with that power? Are you treating others the same, like, with fairness, with kindness? When you, for example, go through a path, for example, and become a very successful person in a career you're choosing from, like what you did to achieve that. Like, are you being greedy? Are you sharing the what do you call, like, the os louros? How do you call that in English? Are you sharing the good things that you achieve with that with your others, or you just holding to yourself? Um, when you're growing in your career, the recognition that you get, it's like something that you feel that is just like, okay, it's part of the journey. They recognize my work, or the recognition, you become, okay, I'm good. I'm the only one able to do that, and so on and so on. So all those things that we grow and we learn and we achieve. And also, please, there's nothing wrong to have that ambition to grow, to be the best on what you do, in a sense that you want to achieve greatness on your career. You want to achieve greatness in your family. You want to achieve, you want to be the best as you can for something that you put your mind to, and that's great. We need to have that drive to do good, because if we are good on what we choose to be, therefore we're going to be doing good for those that are around us. For example, if you choose to be a doctor, like our cardiologist, if you put your mind to be good, to be one of the best, it's not about that you don't want the others to be the best, but that means like your mindset is like, I want to do the best because, I want to treat the people that comes my way the best I can do. I want to give them the best health care that I could provide. I want to study. I want to develop new um, other ways to treat their hearts. So therefore, is on that sense, and it's great. It drives us to progress, because that is another law of God, progression on this. So that drive us to progress, to learning new things. And that's why, for example, medicine, it's able to cure many diseases that 100 years ago we are not able to discover, because there is a study, there are people that are chasing that sense of greatness and do good, study and blah blah blah. But we do have to be mindful to not let those feelings dominate us, on a sense of just an individual. I wanted to be good because I am I'm the only one capable of that. It's not on that sense. So let's just try to keep that separate, like, so there is nothing wrong in um, chasing something and be one of the best on your area or in your expertise. That is great because drive us to discover all the things. But we have to be mindful to not let that drive, that feeling that wanted to be one of the best, to be great, to be successful, to bring those other feelings that we just talked a little bit before, like greed, vanity, pride, because then we are detaching ourselves from that greatness to achieve, to do good, to be the better for the society that um, we are in. So, and then we become like a selfish pursuit of something that is not about the greatest of for the whole, but just for the greatest of your ego. Okay. Everybody following so far? Good. Okay. So, yeah, I forgot my little figures. So we have to be mindful to not let the money drive our our search for success or our pride or to be the king of the world because I think I'm the best and I don't care about the others. But we already talked about that. There is those figures just to illustrate a little bit better about what I already said. Because if with that in mind, life doesn't work that way. We cannot pursue things to be the greatest just for our ego because life doesn't work like that. The true growth is not about separating ourselves. Separate yourself is about contributing to the others. I already said that before. I was a bit ahead of my slide on that on that sentence. So nature, show us this beautifully. Look at that, a beautiful sun. A tree doesn't grow just for itself. It grows to bear fruit. It shouldn't be I spring, it should be this spring. Doesn't exist for its own sake. It nourishes the land. And the sun, it shines on everything without judgment. It doesn't choose where to give light. So that's the motto. So when we are pursuing this, uh, to grow, to be the great, to be the best on your area of work, family, or whatever you put your mind into it, we always should have the example of the nature. And I said that before. It's not about of your ego for your selfishness and your own interests, but about the whole, because if you were studying to be one of the greatest doctors, other people gonna have the value of that. You're gonna touch other people with your knowledge. If you if um if you're studying, for example, Lulu, she's doing her PhD on history and everything. She will be able to touch other people's heart with the history, teaching them and showing like other people that comes through her, like what is the history of our world, and everything that she's studying and helping other people to understand other cultures and so on and so on. So if we put our mind and be the greatest of what we are doing it, we should share and share with the others because it's not about ourselves, it's about the whole. Okay, so and that's the example of nature. Not in nature is because of one thing, one being. Is about the whole. So everything is part of the whole. Every little component of the nature, it's essential for the health environment to grow and be successful. So that's the motto. So grow is power. Yes, because knowledge is power. Isn't there a movie that says that? No, patience. I'm getting the movies crossing my mind. But yeah, grow is power. Yes, it is. Because with knowledge is power as well. We know that knowledge, like a lot of knowledge, is unfortunately we can still see that. With a lot of knowledge, you can cause dominance, like in other cultures. And like Lulu is being studying the history and all of cultures. She's more than capable to explain that for us, like how many cultures can be decimated, like with the power of knowledge, for example, But it's also, Spider-Man. With great powers come great responsibilities. So that's it. So today we're talking about Spider-Man. You know, his uncle was so wise to say that. And that is an all of in our life. So if we gain something in life, more knowledgeable, more experience, more opportunities, then we also gain the ability to help, you know? The greatest spirits who walk on this earth understands that. And that's what the text is talk about maturity. Maturity, is about like great spirits that have way more maturity than us come to this earth to, and they understand that. One of the biggest one that we know about it, famous GC, Jesus Christ, the guy, what he came to what? Isn't he like a very knowledgeable, experienced spirited than us in a sense that he lived through more experience than us? And what he did to us, he came to earth and show us, love is the way. And everything that he did to give us the example, to show and to share with us, the more lesser, the more immature, the more little children, they are still here to learn through that pathway. What is the way? And what is the way? Through love. So they didn't use that strength to elevate themselves. They used to lift others. Isn't that what Colleen always, inspire us to do? To lift others, to be part of the whole. So that's what the text is. It's about it. When he talks about maturity, it's about that. Someone that has that maturity, that level of knowledge, of experience, is not about, be above us and say, look at me, I'm so powerful, It's about be humble and be here to strengthen others, to help us, to teach us the way. So it's about lifting others and say, hey, come on, come with me. I know what you're going through. Even though I cannot leave that for you, I can show you the way. I can help you guide. In the same way that parents with kids, they have way more maturity and they try to help the kids to walk through the experience and showing them the way. Like, look, when a child, for example, is climbing something and a parent say, hey, don't go up there, you can fall and hurt yourself. And then the child keep insisting on it until they go up, climbed and fall and, hurt themselves. It's not about the parent want us to say, I told you so, but it's about, look, I was trying to warn you about that. You didn't listen. So now you got the experience, and now shake it off. Life keeps move on, so let's go. So it's on that sense. So the maturity of the text is about that. It's not about being the bigger being and be superior. It's about of helping others and lift others and help them through the journey with the experience that you have, help others. So the message is simple. If you grow, you serve. The biggest example, Jesus. Didn't he serve us? Didn't he serve the community when he was walking here on this earth? Other example, Sheikh Xavier that we were walking here, like, wasn't his life an example of service toward others? And we don't consider him like one of the greatest spirits that he showed through, truly living the charity to the best of his abilities, and so many other examples. And not only that, we have so many not famous names of that. They're doing this every day. How many people are out there helping others without, chasing any lights on them and just doing what we should be doing, just being good for the sake of being good. It's in our nature to be good, to help each other, to live in a community. So if you rise to support. And why is that? Because if you rise, you learn the hopes and you know how to support others that is following your footsteps. So that's the lesson of this text about maturity. Yes, growth is important. It's important and it's part of our journey and our learning. But it's not only important to us as the individual, but important to us as the whole, as because we live in God as God lives in us. Colin always trying to remind us about there is no out of God, is there is no out of love. And I know it's a very sometimes, even though it's a simple way to put it, but sometimes we forget because sometimes it's really hard to, you know, to 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 detach our actions of that selfishness, of our egos, of our daily things that happen that keep pushing us to keep living on that sense of kindness, fairness, and all of that. And it's okay, it's part as well. We are always, like I myself, trying to remind it when I'm going through like a sense of something's bruising my ego. I try, not always achieve, to remind that is no, well, that person is also on their own journey. So let's try to be a bit more mindful, Di, while how you reply that email, how you reply on that conversation. So it's part of the growth. So the message on that sense of maturity is that like, so if we grow to serve others, to help them grow as well. And if we rise to support those that are coming behind us, and they're not coming behind us because they're lesser. They're just come behind us because they know they're not own time frame. They're all on their own journey that is different of ours. So it's okay. Some people are a little bit ahead, some people are a little bit behind, and it's not because we are more or less. It's just because it's their journey, their time frame. Therefore, we're all here to help each other. Because if I have that experience, I'm able to help that one that is come behind me. That person that is behind me, once they achieve that maturity, and through that journey, hopefully they're gonna be helping others that are coming behind them. And so that could become like a cycle of love and help. And in a hopefully in a very close future, like we would be living on a community without wars, without some have conflicts, that we can all see us as a big community that we have to help and support each other. Because in the end, true maturity is not about being above others. No, not at all. It's about being a blessing to them on that sense. So in the beginning of the text, when they say, blessed are the lesser, let's come back again. I completely forgot about the first. Oops. The lesser is blessed by the greater. Is that what it means? Because it's a bless to serve, not because I'm above them. No, because it's a bless to serve in love, the same way that Jesus showed us the example. So there's a many little effects on my little PowerPoint tonight. So the message is simple. If you grow to serve. If you rise to support, because it's about being a blessing to the people that comes our way. So I really hope that I could be a bless for someone. I really hope that you can be a bless for someone. And therefore we spread that effect butterfly, and everybody can be a bless for everybody. And then we can live on a world that, have a bit more less painful experience, even though we understand it's part of the progress. Spirits that are going through lives of still have to be a bit more refined behaviors and feelings, but we only be able to change that if we are blessings, if we live by example, if we or if we are treated with offense, we can return in kindness, and so on, and all the message that we keep talking here every week. So that's what I understand of being a blessing to the others. So when I like to believe, actually, when I take a moment to breathe, to respond to offense with Work is a good example of that. It's a everyday work on myself. When I get an email that I was like, my God, that's such a dumb person, and I was like, okay, let's breathe in. I will read that email again, because when you read an email, it's really hard to understand the tone that the person was trying to express through typing words. I don't know what that person was going through, like on her family or on her work environment, to maybe be short with me or be a bit like maybe immature or even rude. So sometimes I really, even though sometimes I little explode a little bit, I was like, okay, let's breathe in. How can I reply to that? So I guess like all those little things are blessings on other people's life and help us grow as person. Clean.
Brilliant, Di. Yes. So, in this regard, the person who sent your email is actually the blessing to you.
Yeah, because it's helped me to grow.
Yes. Yes. So, we are in this life living in a state of symbiosis. We need the other to trigger in ourselves something that requires our attention. And how we deal with that is, yes, our choice. But it is always going to be the case for each of us. I was talking to my aunt the other day, and she said, I have this person come to me over many years in the shape of many people, but they are the same kind of person, and they are trying their tricks on me in exactly the same way. Over and over again, this is being repeated. And so it is that the other, that mischievous person in the shape of many people who are trying it on with her in regards to business and competition, they are requiring of her, yes, to find something within her. They are requiring of her to grow. They are requiring of her to embrace the situation and not to brand them as evil, but to brand them as the message. And the message is for her or for you, yes, to receive an email. Yes, your first reaction is, what a dumb question. Oh, what a pain in whatever it is. But it is the trigger that is showing you your response is not helping you. And so we see the blessing in this email being sent by someone who is a plant. They are the mole. They are, yes, they are the one that is being sent to help you to alter the way in which you deal with things.
Yeah.
There is a better way. And that is why you are continually being sent emails that are dumb. Yes. What is your response to that? How can I change that? How can I change my response to that? Thank you for sending me this email. Thank you. Thank you. And I apologize for my earlier responses. Yes, I apologize. I'm sorry. And I thank you for your presence, because now you have given me cause to respond in a more loving and more recognizing that they are helping in your growth.
Yes.
And that is for, so the blessings are all round. There is no one person that is blessing the other. We are blessing each other. It is symbiotic.
Yes, definitely. Definitely.
Yes.
So and that's what the text is about. Like, is we help each other, and we have more experience and more things as well. And it's in a sense like the opportunity that the experience that are presented to us help us grow. In a sense, like, for example, my example of the email is in a sense like I take a moment to breathe and think about it, and then practice my my patience and things like that, and it's helping me grow as well. So yeah, definitely. So the message for today is that we are all blessings on on the life of people that we can touch. And the maturity here, and it's not about the maturity of knowledge itself, that like it's about the experience that we go through and help others to walk through them as well. And that was it for me. The text wasn't that big, but I guess that yeah, it was a really fun one to read, actually, to try to understand that is the maturity is about the love and the conscience that we are here. And we all know that, but it's always good to be reminded that we are here to live together, in a sense like that more we know is not about for our own growth, but about the help others to grow as well. And what I have to offer is different of what Jackson has to offer, and Lulu, Colleen, Yvonne, Alex, and so on and so on. And that's the beauty of living on a community, because with each experience of us, we grow little seeds like the same natures. In the nature, you don't see like trees of only apple trees. You see apple trees, lemon, passion fruit, and so on and so on. So the more the variety, the more the beauty, and the more options there to feed and become like colorful. So in that sense, is us as a spirit as well. Like what I can offer, it's beautiful and it gonna help some people, but like maybe I don't have things that Jackson has. So we exchange and grow together and so on. So, but that's in a sense that we have to remind ourselves that we are here together. And as Colleen put a beautiful word that is not part of my normal vocabulary, symbiosis. And once we understand that, I truly believe that our world will heal on a more, I wouldn't say fast way, but in a more painful way, because I guess for some people just need a little bit of that understanding. But again, we have to be mindful that it's their journey and it's their part of learning, and they have their own time frame to learn. So, just let's sit and help them with that. Any more contributions or any other ideas to share? Yep. So good.
So may I say something? Or Louise, would you like to say something?
You first, Colleen.
Okay. So when I was sitting with Mum, the initial translation of the text was a bit confounding. So we also went to Google Translate and saw that maturity is a more appropriate title for the text today. But maturity is something that often we let slide. We are so easily slipping into, we are just human. Oh, we make mistakes. It's okay. Yes, we deny ourselves the opportunity to slip into and easily embrace our adulthood in our spiritual lives, in our lives. Yes, it is so easy to say, oh, I make a mistake. But this text is asking us so with such clarity. The text is very, very easy to understand. The message is for us to embrace our maturity and say, yes, I am ready to embrace the other as my brother, as part of myself. I am no longer needing the old way of looking at things to say, yes, we are born sinners. Yes, we are born imperfect. And so it becomes our crutch. But if we embrace our maturity and see the other as someone that we need, that we cherish, that we honor as ourselves, and continue to practice this on a day-to-day basis, then we step into the shoes that we have grown into. And this is so important for us to release the need to repeat and repeat and repeat the lessons that no longer serve us. Yes. Yes. It is almost a message for us to step up and to actuate or activate or manifest all of the lessons that we have learned. And there are many lessons, but most of them come down to several sentences, several words. And when we embrace these into, and yes, Jesus said, the texts are there, but the testament that I give you, the Old Testament was one thing, but this is a testament that is written in your soul, that is written in your heart. And that is love. And love, yes, knows no bounds. And if we continue to commit ourselves to, yes, saying this, living it, seeing no evil, hearing no evil, speaking no evil, meaning that the world isn't evil. The things that people say are not evil, but they speak because they are in pain. They speak because they need to hear words and actions of love to, yes, reassure them that all is okay. It is these perspectives that we are free to embrace, but they are freeing if we embrace them. Yes, yes.
Thank you.
And
Thank you.
Colleen, this is also a level of maturity that lots of people hasn't reached yet, because again, it's part of the experience. It's part of living, not through just one life, but through the incarnations, that we start realizing that the word is love. It's not easy. It is. It's not easy, because sometimes the experiences are so inflict so much pain that if you are not prepared to contemplate, you will not contemplate during many incarnations, because the experience get you unprepared to contemplate and understand that this is a blessing as opposed to pain. So that's why people goes through many incarnations until that sense, comes up, grows up, obviously with the help of others, with the help of sometimes with someone else's suffering, we start learning. And the learning as well is not just the what, but also the when you help, how you help. And this is sometimes required. Sometimes you have the knowledge, you have the wisdom, but it's not the time to help because you're not going to be understood. And sometimes you don't know how to pass that. So you don't know how to do it. So again, it's interesting, the multiple facets of a item of maturity, a maturity item now established in the soul, in a spirit. It's many facets.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Anyone else would like to put their 2 cents in?
Just with that, with that, Jackson, yeah, it's the idea of you can get this formal education that helps you grow, but I've with me in the past 2 years, I found I have this qualification, but I've done more serving in the complete opposite direction of that. It's almost yes, I have that, but I've done more growth in other areas than that comparatively. So it's like, I just find that interesting that it's not always where you expect it to be.
Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah.
And it's part like, and I guess it's part of that journey that you're going through, and like everybody goes on their own, that you gain the experience and things that is building your character, that is building who your essence is as Lulu, and your true spirit and your true soul, and through the things that you're learning and people that you share your day, that you're going to do those exchanges and either be a blessing on their lives, or they're being a blessing on yours with the experience and the exchange that help you grow. So yeah, and it's interesting. I guess like it's a give and take, So I guess like sometimes we are being blessings, and sometimes other people's are blessings in our life that help us with our growth and like we understanding of life. And it's a big journey. It's a big journey. And also it can be a very challenge one as well, especially when you stop, because and I guess I understand what Colleen was saying about, don't use the crutches about things, but sometimes it's very easy, and I'm talking about myself, to just let that sleep and just lay down and say, because sometimes it's really hard to, not that it's really hard, but no, it is hard to always have to keep that mentality, understand the others are really our brothers and sisters, because sometimes some situations in our lives are very challenging and very painful, or as Jackson already put it, like some experience that we go through come through very painful situations, and it's I assume it sometimes it's really hard to remember the true essence of love towards that person, but I guess, and that's maybe my pink glasses on, if at some point you are at least stop for 1 or 2 seconds to think about that situation, it's a growth, because maybe that's the first time you stop and take a time to breathe, and okay, maybe that person is my brother and sister, even though you're not there yet with your true forgiveness, with your true understanding, with your true best, what you can present to them. I like to think that every time we at least take a moment to analyze the situation for a second, too, and then hopefully that help us grow that time and within time, because I guess love as well is something that we need to practice, and more you practice, the more you think about it, more it becomes more natural for us to give, I would say, because you have sometimes to, for example, if you have a very painful experience, let's just make an assumption here, like you're a parent and you lose your child at a very young age, and I understand the whole that child comes to you, leave what he needs to leave, and I'm not gonna get through the philosophy of, we understand here, the experience itself of, I guess, of losing a child must be very, very painful. For you to have your mind on that mindset, you have to go through grieving, you have to go to crying, you have to go to, find consolation. And the only way to get to that, it's like to take a moment to breathe. And that comes with practice as well. So, but again, I like to have my pinky glasses on, in a sense, like at least, to not try not to too harsh on the judgment of ourselves and our actions. Like, okay, if I'm thinking 1 minute to think about it and trying to see these on the other perspective, it's a winning on the sense of progressing and achieve that maturity in my soul. Because it's a practice, love as well. I like to think that love as well is practice. I understand it's something that we should be in essence easy, but because the experience we're going through and the things that we're living on this earth, sometimes it's really hard to just see that straight away as just a blessing. We have to recognize that sometimes we need time to process that information. Sometimes we need time to go through the notions of what happened, and try to find the reason, not find the answers, like the true answers, but process the information and work through ourselves, through our feelings, and let that be a more matured feeling, you know, and and when we forgiving someone, it's because we work through that. I understand it would be great if you could do that with straight away, but I like to think, and at least for me, it's part of a process. And I like to think it's okay. You know, maybe that's the first life that I have this conscious about, okay, I need to process this. I need to think about this. I need to, you know, rationalize, rationalize, rationalize. I think I'm speaking wrong, but like you get it what I'm trying to say, you know. Maybe in my previous life, I'm not even care about that. I'm just going straight to violence, you know. So it's a maturity for us as well. And with that, we will be able to help others. And when we see someone in that situation, maybe we can be a blessing to them. And many other experience we're going through, they're a blessing to us for us to keep practicing our love, practicing our forgiveness, practicing our patience, you know, and so on and so on and so on. Because I do think there are very refined feelings that need some work for us to get there and, like, you know, truly be, in essence, easy to give.
Practice until it becomes natural.
Yes, pretty much. Yes, pretty much. Yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah. And thanks for ChatGPT. So can you please make sure that what I write is really polite and not rude? So I don't want to so help me to practice my vocabulary in English as well, so I can have those words on my tongue. Oh, yeah. So that's it for tonight, guys. I really hope your maturity can be a bless in someone else's life, and so and theirs as well on yours. Okay. So I just would like to finalize this night with a prayer. So if you would like to take a deep breath in, sit comfortably, lie down comfortably, or as long as you're comfortable. There is no right or wrong positions for prayers. There is no right or wrong words for prayers. The only right way to pray is the honesty and what we wanted to communicate with God. And we wanted to communicate our gratitude to be here tonight, to have this exchange between us and also with our spiritual friends that blesses us with your presence, with your protection, with your guidance. Open our minds to let the things we discussed tonight sink in and could be a blessing in ourselves that maybe, and I'm sure will help us every little bit that we discuss every week. We help us on building to build the maturity of our soul, of our feelings. So more we practice, the more refined they become. And therefore we can help others be a blessing on their lives and understand that we are part of this whole world. We are not here alone. We are here as a community. And the only way moving forwards is together. So God, please help us to understand. Help us to open our hearts to practice every little thing that we discuss here every week. We do understand that requires us, you know, discipline, required us practicing every day. Required from us the understanding to take a moment to breathe and analyze before we react. And that it's part of the process that will help us grow. So we ask you, dear God, to help us on this process so we can feel your love and understand that this journey is part of the way of for us to grow. And we are thankful for everything. We hope that the next week ahead of us can be full of blessings and that we can be a bless in everyone's lives that we are going to be touching this week, in our families, in our work, everywhere that we go. Let us be the light. Let us live like Jesus through love. Even though sometimes we do have our fails, but we are trying, and that it's beautiful, and that in itself is a blessing. And we thank you. Thank you for your presence. Thank you for your protection on our homes, for your protection in every way we go. And let's hope we can meet again next week. So be it. So thank you, guys. Go in your merry ways. Be a blessing someone else's life. Okay.
Thank you, Di.
And
Thank you, Di.
Very good presentation.
Di.
Love it.
thank you.
Beautiful. Thank you.
Here we
Thank
are. Beautiful and authentic. Amazing, Di.
Thank you. And I hope to see you next week on the same channel. And I guess next week is
Alex.
okay. So I see you. And remember, Spider-Man, with great powers comes great responsibility. If you have to remember one thing, remember Spider-Man. Okay? See you
Okay.
next week. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.